Ugh. Red Hots. Hello, Schmoville. This is episode 55 of the podcast during Phase 3. First of all, I apologize for not having put up an episode on the channel for a little bit. The reason behind it, we've been putting a lot of things on the main channel, and we just uploaded a ton of stuff from the most recent episode of the podcast, or live show as it is today. So that's why. If you want to see any of that stuff, go to the main channel. However, you're not on the main channel right now. You're on the podcast channel. We are at episode 55 of Phase 3, Toad Hop Network. This was a really cool episode because we are very aware, even now, stupid Red Hot, I'm sorry. Even now that we had the Amazing Spider-Man 2 come out recently, the Amazing Spider-Man 1 had a lot of controversy. Some people loved it, some people hated it, and we were lucky enough to have one of the people who was actually in the movie during all this controversy, whatever, too. We had Leif Gantvoort, who was in the film. If you haven't seen the movie, we spoil it in this podcast. He killed Uncle Ben. So if you haven't seen Spider-Man, sorry, you just got spoiled. But if you didn't know that Uncle Ben killed Spider-Man, that's not true. I am on another wavelength right now. This is, if you're watching this, you're going to see Kooky Christian, because he played the guy who killed Uncle Ben. And if you didn't know that Uncle Ben got killed, normally I would hit stop on a video like this, and I would do it again, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to let Schmoville see this idiocy that is what I'm talking about right now. Anyway, listen to it, because we had Grae Drake on. Leif Gantvoort was on. He played the guy who killed Uncle Ben. It was a back and forth conversation on Spider-Man, his time working with Martin Sheen, and then our talks on Spider-Man in general. It's a cool show, and Leif is awesome. So enjoy it, and again, excuse my nonsense.
Live from Universal Studios Hollywood in beautiful Los Angeles, California.
ToadHopNetwork.com.
Radio worth watching.
Radio worth watching.
Hey, everybody. It is the Schmoes Know Show on Toad Hop Network. It's me, Christian Harloff.
And I am Mark Ellis, and what a program we have for you guys today.
We're really excited about today's show.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you.
We were off for 4th of July because our forefathers did not believe in podcasting.
No,
so
but
we took the week off.
We are really excited now because we're going to be doing a full show today. The entire show is going to be about the Amazing Spider-Man. Where is it? There it is. Here it comes. Remember this one?
Oh, boy.
Remember this jam?
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like
You understand Lee was behind this song when he was like,
course he
really?
was.
This is the song you wrote for this guy
People
I
were very
created?
stoned when they made that song.
No, they were hopped up on something else. You don't
True.
write something this quick and catchy.
I got it, dude.
On
He
pot.
shoots the webs off things that he built out from his hands. and
Going
stuff.
up somebody's nose to create this song.
Yeah. All right, so here's how this is going to work today. So we have a lot of stuff to cover on the Amazing Spider-Man, the new movie. And by the way, that song I think was better than James Horner's score, but we'll get into that. All right, we're joined by a lot of cool guests today. We have people calling in. Hang out there, guys. If you're calling in right now, we're going to get to fan phone calls in a second too. So I see the phones already lighting up.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
Okay,
look, we have some in-studio guests.
Great in-studio
that I'm
guests.
very excited about.
Yeah.
Christian, listen to these two names, okay? We
Let's do
have Leif Gantvoort, and we have Grae Drake. We have two 12th century Vikings that are about to go on a conquest and slay the beast Grendel.
How unimportant does your name feel now?
Mark Ellis is my name.
It's like everyone has that name.
Everybody has that
name. The third
name.
baseman playing right now with that
Second
name.
baseman
Whatever.
for the Dodgers. Let's bring in our guest, Leif Gantvoort.
Hello. Now, you can't just say it like that. This guy killed Uncle Ben. Okay. He killed Uncle Ben, and we found the mother, and Spider-Man couldn't find him, and we found him, and he's here. And before he came in, I asked him to see his tattoo, and I was actually the first person to ask him that. I can't believe no one has asked me that yet.
No one's brought it up, really.
That's nuts. I am not the first and last, I'll tell you
Let's point this out, too. Thank you, Christian, for warning everybody that this is going to be kind of a spoiler-heavy podcast.
Yes, I guess. Yeah.
Within the first 2 minutes, hey, this guy killed Uncle Ben.
If you don't know that someone kills Uncle Ben, you don't know about Spider-Man, you shouldn't be listening. I posted on my Facebook that we're having the guy who killed Uncle Ben. Thanks for the spoiler, dude. And I'm like, come on, man, Spider-Man. It's like saying...
Yeah, he can't be Spider-Man without Uncle
Right.
getting
You're
offed.
the guy. You are the reason he fights crime. So I thank you for that.
A turning point
You're
character,
welcome.
and one of the turning points in our film reviewing life, is our other guest today.
Yeah,
The
returning,
lovely, the talented, the beautiful, the
making
returning champion.
her return, a Schmoville favorite, Grae Drake.
Hey, you guys.
Sexy time. I love it.
Do you accentuate your sexy voice a little? Because I have a good radio voice, but I try to accentuate it a little bit. That sounded like Grae's putting on sexy time.
Yeah, in my head,
Yeah.
I sound like Kathleen Turner, circa Romancing the Stone.
Okay, not Californication.
No.
She may have a penis in it.
Oh
Nobody
my
wants to
God!
sound like that.
Oh, this is taking a
All
turn.
right. Well, let's take a turn back to the topic at hand today. And another thing that we want to talk about. Look, we have a lot of people who watch us on YouTube, and they're tuning in right now, and they may or may not be familiar with Catherine Reitman's review that she did. Now, Catherine Reitman was our co-host for a long time. She's a friend of the show. Now, look, I don't necessarily agree with Catherine's opinion on the film, but she got slammed for her review, and I don't think that was fair because it's her opinion. Like, if she didn't like it, she didn't like it. Like, people were killing her for it, and I wanted to get her point of view. I think it's fair. We'll hear the point, and we'll talk about it, but they were just saying some shit to her. And I know it's YouTube, and you got to deal with it, but it's like, they really tore her, and I don't think she deserved that.
On YouTube,
so I wanted to
you're
talk to
not
her.
really popular. You're not really anybody until you have a bunch of people shit on you.
Well, that's
Right.
true. Well, that's true. So when Catherine calls
Hate
in...
is hits, right?
Yes, yes.
Somewhat.
There you go.
So Catherine will be calling in, and we're going to talk to her because I want to get her point of view. So Catherine, call on in when you're ready to, and we want to talk to you about that. So let's get into this. Let's talk Amazing Spider-Man. Grae is going to be here arguing on the side of one of the things that you and I talked about at the screening. This is a lot of things that I know some people had a problem with this. Like there was an IGN review that came out. It seems like a lot of people have to compare the Amazing Spider-Man to the Raimi ones and said, well, I've seen it before. Why am I seeing this again? And I don't agree with that philosophy at all because I think that this is a new tone for this film that Mark Webb was doing, a brand new tone. And in order to do that, you have to show parts of the origin because you have to get into the second and the third one of the tone. Because if the second one, the sequel, is exactly like Raimi's number 2, then you call stink. But right now, you have to have those moments because that's the origin of Spider-Man.
I agree with that. When I have written my review for it on movies.com, the thing I had to do was separate the two of them. But I'm getting a little bit like a mama bear because I love Sam Raimi so much that when I saw this film, although I think that it's way closer in tone to Batman Begins, which is exactly what they're going for, I think.
Right.
They want
Darker.
us-
Of course.
Darker.
Yeah,
Mysterious.
more serious.
Right.
More dudes with tattoos.
Tats,
Uh-oh.
star
Love the
tats.
tattoos.
Yeah.
Love it. Reminds me of this guy. I get it, but I was like, you're telling an origin story, and it's the same thing, man.
Right.
Like, and I understand, like, the origin hasn't changed. There've been over 150 Spider-Man comic books, I think. That's
Right.
around the correct number. And
There's
the
been
origin,
tons.
Yeah.
the origin has never changed. So I get the tone shift, but it's still a skinny
But
kid
when
who
was-
gets
listen-
bitten by a bug and he punches people.
But you can't just start a Spider-Man movie. You can't reboot a franchise and be like, oh, when we last joined Peter Parker, he had been bitten by a spider.
Yeah, it's
and
not a
scene.
reboot then.
You
Yeah.
have to show him. And for me personally, you brought up Batman Begins. One of my favorite things about watching a superhero movie is the origin story of the superhero. So I like seeing that retold. I like seeing somebody else's perspective on that.
Oh my God, you are so much more patient than I. And I know that you can't just start in the middle. I get it. I think the next Spider-Man movie is just going to be wall to wall fantastic.
Yeah.
But this one, I sat there kind of arms crossed, just a hair.
Well, listen. Let me say this though too, because to be fair, I when I reviewed the movie, I gave it 3.5 out of 5, which is a nice review because my thing.
That was a little low.
I was actually higher than you.
Well, and I could probably rewatching it and stuff too. You've seen it twice, Mark. I probably could go 4, but the reason I went 3.5 is because I just felt I loved all the tone stuff. I loved the way it was. It just took me a little while to get there. Like the first 45 minutes.
You had plenty of time.
Yeah, it was a little. It was a little slow. But that being said, I was okay with it because Andrew Garfield was so fantastic as Peter Parker, and I think that, and it seems like it's now a popular sentiment is the fact that he has totally eclipsed Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring in Leif here because
Yeah.
Leif,
Yeah.
you hear that they're rebooting Spider-Man. What was your mindset when you're like, oh, I'm auditioning for? Wait, didn't we just have that? Didn't we just have a
Take
trilogy?
us through that process.
I mean,
for sure.
Were you scared they would make you dance?
Yes, I was, yeah. No, first off, I didn't audition for Spider-Man. I mean, early in the process, no, they didn't tell you what it was. It was like untitled teenage drama. And they don't even give you sides. They don't give you any information. They just say, show up in a pair of glasses. Bring sunglasses.
That's great.
Mystery.
So that's what I did. I showed up in a pair of sunglasses, and you go into the room, and Andy Henry was the casting director at the time, and he's like, this is the scenario. You do this, this, and this. And I know comic books well enough that I'm like, okay, this is Spider-Man.
Your Spidey sense was tingling.
Yeah, my Spidey sense was tingling.
Room.
Yeah. So then I got nervous, because, I mean, regardless of if it's a reboot or whatever, I grew up a comic book fan. Being a part of any franchise like that is huge for me, you know. So.
Unless it's Batman and Robin for Joel Schumacher.
But even then, I mean, come on. You'd still be excited to be a part of it.
Bat ass.
Because we didn't know
can't
what
see
that
your
was
bad
going to be.
nipples.
But, and they described the scenario of what I'm supposed to do in the audition, and I'm like, oh, my God, again, this is a legendary character. It happens, and you know the impact it has. So even though it's not a huge role, it's so important.
But wait. Yeah, that's the thing, though. And this is why, and we can go into, I know that you're a Raimi fan. We can talk. I almost think that he started to bastardize the franchise a while.
Oh, Raimi?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. We can't argue about that.
But it's not necessarily his fault, too, because Sony was giving him a lot of shitty notes. But it just, he took so much liberty with the original storyline. And one of the things is, it took Spider-Man a while to find the dude that killed Ben. He finds him in 5 seconds in the Raimi version. That means Leif's going to come back somehow. Do you know anything? Do you know anything at all? Do you? I didn't. Come on. I did. He's like, even if I did, he's like, I would shoot you faster than I shot Uncle Ben.
May I just make a point that I'm overwhelmed right now by movie magic because you are such a nice-looking gentleman. I could never imagine you killing one of the nicest.
He is the nicest person like you could ever meet. So like when I knew a buddy of mine had told me a while ago, and I couldn't say anything that he had gotten the thing, and I was like, shit. And then I was looking for him. I'm like, oh yeah. And then I looked, and I was like, I felt like a happy kid. I'm like, yeah, kill Ben, kill him, kill that guy. Get him! Go! But not only is it intimidating to get that role, and then it's like, oh, by the way, you're gonna have to kill Ben. It's Martin Sheen.
Yeah, by the way, it's Martin Sheen. Yeah, exactly.
It's the former president of these United States.
I was thinking about it. You put together how many times Martin Sheen's died in film? Tons, right?
And how many times in real life?
Yeah, you would now be in his cut. Yeah. So do you when you hear that it's gonna be Martin Sheen? Did you jump out shit in your pants? Like what?
Oh yeah, because
how did they tell you booked the role? Did they say, hey, you booked untitled teen drama, and by the way, this teen shoots?
Well, here's the thing.
Hillary
The initial audition, I'll tell this story real quick. The initial audition is, again, it's mimed improv because they don't give you sides.
Are there a bunch of other dudes milling around in sunglasses?
Yes, exactly. There's like 10 other people out in the waiting room.
And they're like, you're in a box.
And you come in and they're like, okay, this is the scenario. It's an older couple. You steal the older woman's purse and then you shoot the older man, which, in my head, I'm like, okay, that's what this is. Yeah. But so, you're miming out the scenario. You're like, give me the purse. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. But then I go to shoot in my mind who I know is Uncle Ben, the old man, and I do this. I go.
That's fantastic. And you booked the goddamn role.
Well, I walked out and I'm like, oh my God, what did I just do? This is one of the biggest auditions of my career, and I just did the sound effects for the gun. What kind of moron does the sound effects for the gun? So I'm walking off the lot of Sony. I'm like, I'm never acting again. I'm done. I mean, who am I kidding?
Right.
I'm a fool to think that I'm an actor. And so I get in my car and I'm driving home and I'm just
on the way home. Did you go?
Yeah, I'm being. Yeah, it wouldn't start.
During an intimate moment, he's like, "Ew."
But I get home and my agent calls 2 hours later and he says,
he's like, Michael Winslow booked the role. Sorry, guy.
He says Sony called, and he leaves a 2-second pause there, and then in my head I'm like, and they want you to move out of the city and just never come back.
Can you work the phone?
They're going to have your family killed.
But he says, they called because the tape malfunctioned for the audition, so they need you to come back and do it again.
That is the best.
I'm like, reprieve, I'm alive again. I have another chance.
So you now believe in a higher power.
Yeah, exactly.
That is fantastic.
So you
started working on your machine gun noise?
Yes, exactly, because I was like, I'm going to make this character as big as possible.
Right.
What other sound effects can I bring in? But then I go back for the second audition, and I'm in my head so much, I'm like, don't make the sound effect, don't make the sound effect, don't make the sound. But I guess I did all right because,
because you got the role. Yeah,
I feel like that's not a crazy leap to make, though. Honestly, that's pretty.
Absolutely. So wait, so then you get the role. You're happier than a pig and shit. And so when do you hear that Martin Sheen was cast as Ben?
Well, I heard that right away, but again, dealing with a film this size, there is so much mystery surrounding it, and they don't tell you anything.
Right.
So early on, I'm cast, and again, we're spoiling a lot of this, but this is a
spoiler. This is a full spoiler.
They know.
If you didn't see this movie, then you should tune out and wait until you see it.
I get cast, and one of the first things I have to go is to a wig test, where they have to build a wig for me.
Oh my God, I love acting already.
Perfect.
So
I got one of those next week.
Yeah, so I'm getting the wig built for me, and while I'm getting the wig built for me, these people are talking about all the other people getting the same wig built for them, and I'm like, well, what does that mean?
Right.
I have no idea, because again, I haven't seen any script. My character description is glasses. That's the name of the character at the time. That's all it is.
Come here, glasses.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, what does this mean? Why are all these other people getting wigs like me? And they're talking about some of these other characters with more importance than they're talking about me.
Right.
And so I'm like, well, maybe I'm not what I think I am. I start doubting that I have this role.
Existential crisis.
Oh yeah, well, that's me.
Untitled
that's
teenage
me in a
drama.
nutshell.
Maybe you booked a Spider-Man musical, and there's like 10 of these guys singing and dancing.
So then after the wig test, then I go to a costume fitting. The same thing. It's all this mystery, and they're not telling you exactly what's going on. And it wasn't until like a week or two after that I'm on set because I'm doing the full test for the director, and they walk us all over there, all these guys in this long blonde hair and all these, and we're standing there in a row basically, and Mark walks over, and the DP and Michael and Matt and Avi and all the producers are standing there, and they're all looking at us, they're all weighing us, and then Mark leans to the DP and he goes, that one right there, that's Glasses, he's the one that kills Ben.
That is
and
awesome.
It was like at that moment, then it was like it finally sunk in that I was like, yes, this is my role, this is what I'm doing. And then after that, it started making sense what the other guys were. Yeah. But it was like in that moment, I just wanted to jump out of my skin and just cheer, like, yes, that's it. I do have the role. I do have the role.
Cool. Yeah, all right. I definitely we got to come back into. I want to hear about the as far as the whole Martin Sheen working with him and how the actual scene went down and how it was actually working with Mark Webb. What I want to do is I'm going to take a phone call from a fan here too, and we got to get Catherine on the phone. The phone, you guys are great because the phone lines are busy. She can't get through. So she's been trying to get through. She just texted me. We're going to try to get her through. So I'm going to take one call from Jeff from Ohio over here. Jeff, you're on the Schmoes No Show. What's up, dude?
Oh, great.
What do you got?
Well, here's what I got. I've seen the movie last Saturday, and I really liked it, and I really liked how the spin on the origin story and Leif for being a great killer.
He is, isn't he? And he's like the nicest guy in the world.
Movie magic.
You have a question for anybody?
Yes, I guess I'll have a question for Leif.
Yeah.
So, Leif, of course you had said not too long ago that you're a big fan of the comics.
Yeah.
So, I gotta say, how did it feel when you walked on set to film your scene?
Yeah, it was, I was about to get into this a little while ago because you guys were talking about, like, what's it like to kill Martin Sheen?
Right.
Well, I walk on set, and the crew was just giving me crap, Everybody on the crew is leaning over and like, you're killing Martin Sheen, man. What's up with that?
Right.
And so I do feel bad, but, that's my job, and...
You kind of relax when everybody's just kind of having a laugh about it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
It just takes the
exactly.
pressure off.
And then you
His kids
meet...
did it a long time ago, let's be honest.
And then
Yeah,
you meet
true.
Martin, and...
Sweetest guy in the world.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I mean, like I fell in love with him within 2 seconds. Just his presence, everything about him,
Right.
and like he just has that history, and it's just you learn so much just from looking at him,
Right.
and seeing him on set. So that was awesome. And then it's just it's coupled with the fact that you have to kill him,
Right. I mean,
so there's a little bit of upsetness.
I'm sure.
Hollywood is incredible that way.
Yeah, all right. So here's the thing, guys. For people calling in, we're looking for Catherine Reitman here calling in. So if this next call I take, if you're not Catherine, unfortunately I have to hang up on you.
Sorry in advance.
But you can call back and we'll talk. So I just want to see in a second here. Hey, you're on the Schmo Show. Who we got?
Hello?
Oh, hey man, I'm sorry. I gotta drop you.
Yeah.
All right.
Apologize to Catherine for me.
That's okay.
Oh, that's sweet.
I'm sorry, I'm not Catherine. Then he puts on lipstick.
Catherine, call in. We finally got someone on the line.
Put some lotion in a basket.
You guys, just hold off for calling real quick because Catherine is going to call in, so we need to call her. We need to talk to her. I think this is her, hopefully. And let's see. Let's double check.
Fun with phone technology.
Oh, wow. Everybody's calling
the
in.
The Spider-Man edition.
Oh, there she is. Okay, good. Catherine, are you there? Catherine. There she is.
There she is.
Finally, we got you. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Grae.
Hey, how's it going, Catherine?
Hi, sweetie. And I'm so so awesome to have you both Vikings.
Yeah, that's right.
She heard the joke. Thank you, Catherine.
Yeah. Catherine, so here's the thing that we're going to get into. Like we talked about the Raimi stuff and everything too. Now, like I said in the beginning, you, myself, Mark, and we have different opinions on this movie, and although we don't agree, we can talk about it. And I just thought that that some of your fans kind of unfairly bashed you on your show. But the thing is, I just wanted you to kind of give your thoughts on the film and why you thought the way you did, and just give you your say, if you will.
What happened in your childhood that you had to hate that movie so much, Catherine?
Oh man, well I'm the devil.
That must be why your hair's so shiny and lustrous.
Leif was actually here to kill you.
Hair. I got to start by saying that and I'm not just saying this because they're very talented actors in the room with you guys. The actors from start to finish I was really impressed with, and I had a great time. I just, my bigger problems were with the writing predominantly, the pacing, and the ending. I know we're in a spoiler-heavy episode, so I'll just go ahead and say it. I felt like there were 3 endings, and 2 of them were probably due to test screenings, reshoots. I don't know. I went and saw the movie again. That's how much the fans were like, I'm like, am I missing something? Am I out of my fucking mind here? And I went back and watched it again, and to be honest, I liked it less. And
Wow.
I know people want me dead for it, but
Well, that's but look, I don't like I said, I don't agree with that. The Spider-Man stuff to me, the actual him fighting the ending, I loved. I thought it was fantastic. I loved the way it tied up. But again, I respect that you didn't like it. You didn't dig it. But I just thought, for me, and I think you and I talked about this, Catherine, at the end, like, it just took a while for me to get there, but I loved all the Spider-Man stuff. I thought, and I know that you weren't necessarily a Spider-Man fan as a kid, correct?
Right, but I just got to say it, and I don't think that has anything to do with enjoying a movie or not. Listen, I've never read any comic book other than Garfield and Calvin and Hobbes and the occasional Betty and Veronica.
Whoa, that's getting
good titles,
But I stick with Family Circus, Catherine.
But I do disagree, though. I do think that it's important because the reason why, and what I said before with Grae, was they had to reestablish a tone. And people like yourself and other people who just know Spider-Man really from the Raimi movies, I totally understand where it's just like, I've seen this before, why am I seeing it again? But for those who knew what really made Spider-Man work, you didn't have that in the Raimi movies. They had little bits and pieces. This was the Spider-Man that most fans wanted, and I think that's why the real fans of it, they really.
Got so much hate.
I think so. I think the fans that really embraced it, so I understand, again, Grae's point of view and your point of view. I just think from me, what I always wanted to see, this is the best Spider-Man that I've seen out of all of them because it's the most true to anything of Spider-Man. I can't wait for 2 and 3, and the tone will be so much more different. And I think, and I want to get Harry on a debate too, because I thought his points were all over the map, but that's another thing.
So fantastic. I thought he was fantastic, but I hear you. I just think, is it not right that there is a show for people who read every comic book as well as a point of view for people who maybe haven't, and they just want to go and see a great comic book
Absolutely.
movie, and see a superhero movie that has great pacing and a great story, and if they have seen it just a couple years ago from a different perspective, and they enjoyed it, minus the third one.
Well, listen,
they just have the opportunity to have a hell of a time again.
Well, let me ask you a question, Catherine. If the Raimi movies never existed, what do you think?
I still think this movie would have been slow. I still think the writing was on the nose. I mean, the audience is pretty smart, I think. I like to think. And there were several moments where we already understood something, and then I had 2 characters tell me again what's happening. And that goes to the romance between Gwen and Garfield. There was a few moments where I'm like, I already know that, and where's all the beautiful romantic tension that I felt in the other? I don't know.
All right, well, that's something. When you come back in live studio, maybe we'll talk about that again too, because That I disagree with you as well. But again, Grae's got a point. Grae, what do you want to say?
I just think that, reviews are all about context. And so,
Yes.
Catherine, you're absolutely allowed to come at it from a point of view of someone who wasn't a fan of the comic books. Because look at your boobs. Of course you weren't a fan of the fucking comic books.
Thank you, Grae.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. So, I think that's why it's all of the diversity in film review these days is great, because we got guys like you who do know, and then we've got people like me and Catherine that didn't read the comic books.
And Catherine, for what it's worth, I will go with you when I say I don't think this movie needed to be made. I wasn't like waiting for.
But you're glad it was.
But I'm really happy it was. I didn't need that 5th Coors Light last night, but it tasted great when it went in my body.
It feels good. Yeah,
Well,
I hear ya.
unfortunately, we got to go to break here. But Catherine, we love you to death. We can't wait to have you back in studio. I watch your show religiously, and I'll continue to watch you, regardless if we agree or not.
Nice Kim Kardashian reference in your video, babe.
Yeah.
Like that.
So
Hey, listen,
go
I
ahead
do
and
what I can.
go.
Do what I goddamn can.
Go throw a spear through Harry's face, and we will we'll see you very soon.
I'll see you at Zumba class,
got it.
dear.
All right.
Love you guys. Bye.
All right, guys, we're going to break. Make sure you call in, tweet us some questions. We're here with Leif, Gantvoort. We're here with Grae, Drake, myself, Mark Ellis. We'll be back. Hang in there. Now, do you know what that is?
This is that's a score.
That's the new score.
This is the score by James Horner, which I'm sure Christian has a lot of points on.
Well, we do, and we'll talk about it in a second. I know you want to get to stuff. We started with the Danny Elfman. We'll talk about that in a second. Go ahead.
Welcome
I'm
back to the
apologize.
Schmoes No podcast, ladies and gentlemen. That was Christian Harloff bitching about music. This is Mark Ellis. Big weekend for the Schmoes. We are going down to San Diego for Comic-Con. And actually, I'm going to be down there tonight doing the world-famous Comedy Store in La Jolla, just north of San Diego.
That's
and
right.
If you're a Schmoes fan, you just say Schmoes No at the door. Call them, say Schmoes No. You get in absolutely free to the comedy show. You have to be 21 or over or have a good-looking fake ID.
That's right. And Mark mentioned that we are going to Comic-Con, as is Ms. Drake.
Boom.
That's right. We are going to be meeting up there. There's going to be so much content on our Schmoes channel. If you guys don't, if you're Toad Hop listeners and don't know about our channel, it's youtube.com/schmoesknow. There's going to be so much content on Comic-Con. We're going to put 3 to 4 videos up a day. We're going to be talking to people. We'll try to break stories. We're going to try to find out some information on the Superman trailer that's coming out. So all that stuff. We're really looking forward to it.
And Mark is going to
check that out.
attempt.
All right, so let's get back into it. Let's start with the score, because here's my thing.
By the way, come see me on the Masters of the Web panel tomorrow, Comic-Con too, 4:30.
Absolutely.
Booyah.
Okay.
Take that, web.
Yeah, exactly.
Spider-Man. Segway.
Speaking of webs, all right. Now, if you guys have been listening since the beginning of the podcast, right before we went live,
we have special guests, Grae Drake from CNN, Leif Gantvoort from Killing Uncle Ben.
You bastard.
Listen to me. You're jumping all over the place.
I'm sorry. Let's talk about the score.
Let's talk about the music. That's what we're talking about here is music, okay? When Mark likes to play classic rock and wants to jump around in Van Halen and intro every damn video with Van Halen, we introed to the classic Danny Elfman score from Spider-Man, which was one of my favorite things about the Raimi thing was Elfman's score. I happen to dislike the James Horner score for this one. I thought it was jarring. I thought it didn't work for certain moments, and it might have been why I went to 3.5, to be honest with you, because there were certain moments in that movie where I thought that the music really could have set the tone, and it's like, I'm like, what is going on here? Slow it down. Bring it down, James. And I love James Horner. He's one of my favorite composers.
Yeah.
But I just thought he was all over the place in this.
I read something where somebody said, why is the lizard carrying around a giant piano that he can't play?
That's awesome. We're in agreement on this one, Christian, for sure.
Playing lizard.
Guys, do me a favor. Tweet Schmoville. Tweet in. Did you like the score from James Horner? Did you prefer the Elfman one? Tweet us and let us know. We're going to take a few phone calls here. We're going to go with George. Here we go. Georgie, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What do you think about music?
I love music.
Nice.
What do you got for us, George?
Well, I was just wondering what you guys thought would keep this franchise alive, without doing the whole Raimi thing. I feel like if the Amazing Spider-Man's going to stay alive for 3 films, they have to stay away from anything Raimi, and it's not really fair for people to compare the Raimi films to these films because they're completely different. They're totally different films.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same character, but they're totally different.
So you mean you mean like where we're going to go?
Well,
yeah.
I think
where's it going to go from here? Obviously, they had to do the origin story.
All right. No, that's great for you. Thanks a lot, George.
But I think
problem.
I think going into this, they knew they had a strong trilogy, stronger than the first three, because they have a finale to this storyline that the other one didn't.
Right. Well, yeah. Because
I mean, if you know the comic books,
because of the thing with his parents and everything, the way it's going. Yeah, absolutely.
We got a cool set. It's not going anywhere, guys. People are so nervous. They're like, you paid $15 to see a Spider-Man movie that was really cool to see on the big screen. Let's just everybody take a breath, believe that they're going to make another good movie.
Right.
Hopefully Venom shows up.
They're going
Let's
to.
have some fun with this.
I agree
Here's
with you.
the thing. Take off the dark tone with this.
No, I like it, but the dark tone's what made this one good.
With the talking
ideas.
about.
Oh, right.
Everybody being so uptight talking.
Well,
about
there was so much anticipation going into this, and everybody was a little bit nervous.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
Anticipation. There was hate. I mean, that was one of the things early on getting involved with this.
Why are they rebooting it? There's no
my
reason.
God!
Yes,
I mean,
right.
hate.
One and two are
nothing.
beloved, regardless of what you think of them. 1 and 2 are beloved, and maybe now because. Like now, there's a little more people watching. They go, "Oh, they are a little dated, but we still appreciate." Because the one thing was when Spider-Man came out back in 2000, the thing was that, or 2001, was that. 2002. I'm doing in my head. Sorry, I'm doing.
We'll get there.
I'm doing Dustin
We'll
Hoffman.
find it.
Anyway, my point is the fact that there were not a lot of superheroes. X-Men was out there. There was Blade, but Spider-Man was like the massive superhero when he came out. So of course there's going to be hatred for it.
Consider that Spider-Man never had an old version that is also beloved, such as Superman. Like Superman set the tone back over 30 years ago, and Spider-Man never had that. So coming into it in 2002, people were amped.
Yeah, the electric company.
Here's
and
what
it
I'm
took
going
a
to
while
say.
before the 95 they were supposed to do one, and it took forever.
It took forever. Now, hate is just anticipation in a more uncomfortable pair of shoes.
100%. Well said.
Look, to quote Genesis, this is the world we live in. Okay,
I love that song. It's my favorite.
Now. It's not the 70s, not the 80s anymore. You don't have one guy doing it. I think that what Batman was great about Batman is that when it went downhill, as soon as a franchise goes downhill, then you're allowed to reboot it a couple years later. What happened with the Hulk? That's what happened with Spider-Man, and it's okay.
More than a couple years after the last horrible Batman movie, they really took their time, and they had a whole different set of comic books to come at it from. Made a huge difference. Now, here's the thing about what's going to make the next one successful: less talky, more webby.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think we got all the talky out of the way.
Yes, we did.
So I think and that'll work. But one of the things though that I think some of the fans are tweeting this stuff too, and we should talk about this real quick.
Acknowledge
stuff that happens inside of the movie, stuff that happened, because there's questions, and like the main question is, who was that guy in the cell?
At the end.
Who was with the lizard in the very end?
Nobody can figure it out.
Online, everybody's theories.
Yeah,
who do you think it was?
No, come on.
Were you that guy?
He can't talk about.
No, I mean,
he wants to come back.
They won't tell him.
They're going to hire Hugo Weaving.
And everything I know is what I read online. So,
Listen,
which nobody
knows.
knows.
They won't even look him in the eye when he gets a wig fitting. They're not going to tell him who that guy is.
We got to make sure Leif has a big role in the second. Leif, right after this podcast, we're going to get you a tattoo. We're going to get you the star tattoo.
You have to.
Okay. Right. As soon as I saw that, by the way, I wanted him dead because I hate the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, it's true. That's a good point.
That's where you go with it.
Yes.
That's
I see the star and I get angry.
See, but I love Orion, so I was all in.
Who did you guys out there? Who do you think it was? I don't think it was Osborn. I
thought it was Norman Osborn.
I don't think it's Osborn. What the hell's he doing in a jail cell? I think it's someone
old.
completely.
He's wily.
I think they're going to save the Green Goblin.
Well, for one
end.
thing, my interpretation watching the film as a fan, he wasn't in the jail cell. He was in his head.
Right.
So
you think because the lizard has lost his mind.
Because he wasn't there at the end.
Right.
I mean, he popped up. Okay. He popped, and it's a jail cell. How's he? Like, going to put two guys in there together? That have,
Okay. As we all know, comic book lore doesn't have the best kept prison on Earth.
No,
it ain't exactly Alcatraz when you're looking at a comic book.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk to a few more fans. The lines are blowing up. This is great. All right, we have Lance from Georgia. What's up, Lance? What do you got?
Hey, Christian. Hey, Schmoes. This is my channel, Cinematic Galaxy.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
What's up, dude?
Oh, that's right. We got a comment from you. Now, Lance had left us a comment on our YouTube channel. He's a huge Spider-Man fan. So when he and correct me if I'm wrong, Lance, but you saw the movie originally, didn't love it, and then thought about it, saw it again, and loved it.
Right.
All right. So how did that happen? So you went the opposite of Catherine.
Well, here's the thing. See, I grew up with the Sam Raimi movies, with the first two films. I still remember being a kid, seeing them on the big screen. So when I first saw the Amazing Spider-Man, part of me did not want to let go of that. I was still I was comparing it the whole time when I first saw it, just analyzing. I wasn't enjoying the actual film. And then when I saw it again, I completely put the Sam Raimi trilogy out of my mind.
Good for you.
And I love the film. It's my favorite Spider-Man film.
Yeah, and it's easy.
Great call, Lance. Thank you. That's exactly my point.
And it's easy to forget. It's easy to put the Raimi ones out of your mind because I'll tell you, I did the same thing that Lance did. I mean, in a way, I saw the movie and I went back and I rewatched the first Raimi Spider-Man, which I was so clinging to, and it's actually kind of cheesy.
It's so dated now. I'm telling you,
It is.
even number 2, which when I saw number 2 in the theater, I was like, "This is one of the best superhero movies of all time."
I had that react
The
too.
train seniors. It is so corny now.
It's
cheesy. So
cheeseball.
corny, and when Doc Ock's running around, it looks so cheap. It's not as good as you remember it. I'm telling you.
They got away from that, so it's good,
Yeah.
and that's why I rated it so high because I was like, all right, this is apples and oranges and spiders.
Good. Well, good. So that's the thing. All right, let's go. These
That
calls
sounds like a
have
really
been-
enjoyable picnic.
These calls have been fantastic. I want to go somewhere else here. We're going to go to Canada. We got Matthew. What's up, Matt? What do you got?
Spiders, eh?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm a huge fan of the films, and I grew up with them too, and they were so nostalgic. But I feel like this film was like Prometheus, where it really needs a sequel. Where I wanted to get a prequel to the Aliens, but I didn't know what I wanted, so I have a feeling this film really needs a sequel, and I think it has the potential to be some of the best superhero movies.
Great. That's great. Yeah, I thanks for the call. I absolutely think that that's true because it set us up well. And like you said, Grae, there was a lot of talky, but it accomplished what it needed to accomplish.
Yeah, because we understand the character. I mean, I think that was the whole point of this, reboot is that we really tap into the character.
Yeah,
so
there's,
that
no
we
more
go on.
there's no more Twilight.
And that's where I actually disagreed with Catherine's review because I felt like even though it was very talky, and no movies anymore follow the Roger Corman rule of length, 90 minutes-ish, that I still was so into what they were doing,
me
and
too.
I loved watching Andrew Garfield, and I thought he was awesome. And then I'm listening to people talk about being mad about him being on a skateboard. It's
That
like,
was so silly. Yeah, someone said that too. They were
I was still. He
yeah.
looks like a skateboarder. He looks like a friggin' high school kid on a skateboard.
Yeah.
I don't care. I love him with
And
one
I'm
stick.
going to get mad at any kid on a skateboard.
and I'm also
You're
You're
an old man, and you just want him to get off your
They're
lawn.
smoking cigarettes and they're toking their grass.
I'm also over people saying, "Well, he doesn't look like he's in high school." Look, Ian Zerning was 45 years old in Beverly Hills 90210. We forgave him.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're just looking for something
Yeah,
to complain
that's the truth.
about.
I don't know if we forgave Ian Ziering.
Well, I never watched it, so I forgave him.
Like,
All right.
I'm not sending him a card.
Good
All right.
point, Mark.
Now,
Ian, it's okay you looked like you were 40. Tell Luke Perry I said hi.
Okay,
We
again-
loved you, and that's my boy.
Again, this is a spoiler-heavy show, so remember that. We got a tweet from Hansel Paz, who says, "Do you think Gwen Stacy should die in the next film or the last?" I think he thinks they
we
need to
have
be
to
done.
choose?
He thinks it should be done in the next
Those
one.
are the only options?
But look, that's your reaction is absolutely the point of why that movie worked and the relationship worked because their chemistry and the chemistry works so much that they're having sex right now.
And the fact that, by the way, Gwen Stacy aside, thigh highs aside, and weird, inexplicable knee pads. Anyways,
Right.
She is a great character because
Right.
she was actually doing something. And a point made by someone who I can't remember. Never once dangled off of something high used as bait.
No.
Score.
Yeah.
Totally good.
Yeah, and so in the comic books, Gwen Stacy is not Peter Parker's very first love. There's a couple other little crushes here and there, but she's the first major storyline love. And in the comics, the Green Goblin, depending on which line you read, is responsible for her death. So I think if the Green Goblin arrives in the second movie, then Gwen Stacy might crap out. If the Green Goblin doesn't come in until number 3, then she might last until the 3rd.
I don't know, dude.
I think there's an interesting way to go each way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the downward spiral that comes as a result of that could make a great film, too.
100%.
Yeah, man.
You know, so
worked for Batman Begins.
Yeah, it does. And this also
And that was
poses
just Katie Holmes dying.
But
That was
psych,
Maggie
I meant-
Gyllenhaal.
that was
I really
Scientology.
meant it.
Yeah.
That was Scientology. So here's
I meant Dark Knight, by the way, fans listening. Sorry.
but this poses another great question. Well, let's say they set up everything to Gwen Stacy dies, Spider-Man becomes like the big, the Spider-Man that we know, the adult Spider-Man, and starts doing this thing, and Sony and Disney come to an agreement.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
That it is
Cross
time
promo.
to put differences aside, let's find a way to make some money and put Spider-Man in one of the Avengers sequels.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I'm sure this is commonly known, but they started that process for
The
this
Osborn,
film. And I mean, I was excited for one when I heard that. You know, that the
But was it a process or just like a dick tease? Like that's the question.
No, because I talked to Avi as much as I could on set, but then I also read an interview specifically about this, and they had worked it all out. It was ready to go.
Shit.
It was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just timing-wise, it couldn't be done.
I just feel like this is Israel and Palestine, though. We're just
Right.
going to keep getting teased.
Yeah, right.
Shit ain't never going to change.
Well, I mean, if anybody changes, it's going to be Sony and Disney. Like, I don't ever see Fox coming to agreement with anyone and letting the X-Men come around. It's just not going to happen. But
It's just so much money that's going to be involved.
Do
And
you
I was one of those
understand-
guys. I said, like, look, I know it's crazy, but when I was at the screening of this, I'm like, if the hidden scene is somebody hanging out and then Sam Jackson walks in with an eye patch,
Right.
I'm going to lose.
You're gonna lose your mind.
My shit.
Yeah.
I think all the Avengers should come together with Spider-Man, and they got to track down Peter Parker's uncle's
Killer. I mean,
killer.
let's-
Movie
that would-
theater
oh,
seats.
right.
Right?
Great.
Yeah.
Movie
I don't
theater
think you can
seats.
handle all those superheroes coming at you.
Listen,
Lee.
how-
I got a gun. I got a gun.
right.
You got a gun, and he can throw a chocolate milk
I
like
can throw a
nobody's
chocolate
business.
milk.
You and Hawkeye, he can shoot arrows and
Yeah.
you can shoot your gun.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Now, that's the thing. Can you imagine, like, if the Green, once we set up all three Spider movies, the Green Goblin and, Doc Ock, and then, even Doctor Doom pops in there. Who knows?
Yeah.
And then on the other side you have Thanos and Loki, and then you have everyone. I mean, it would be a shit show. People,
Oh my God.
that would make more money than The Dark Knight could ever.
You can make like
Do
a
you know-
9-hour movie and people would
Right.
still
Yeah,
go.
They would still go see
100%.
it. Do you know why that idea is not going to be popular? Because just like Peter Jackson's 48 frames a second, movie theater owners are going to be upset about the cost of the movie theater seats because everyone is going to shit themselves.
That's right.
Like,
Okay, and a note to Catherine Reitman: you better like that movie on the review.
Or don't show up to work. That's the thing. All right, let's take another call here. We got Thomas online too. Thomas, what's up, buddy? What do you got?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
My question really is about the Lizard. And how did you guys think about the kind of character arc of Dr. Connors? I kind of felt a little rushed at times. Like I felt for him at some points, but then at one point he's kind of just like, I want to take over New York and turn everyone into lizards.
Right. He just went from being like having a kind of humanized character to just a monster.
Yeah, see,
Right.
well,
Okay. Thanks for
what I
calling.
didn't understand about that is why do you want to turn? You're the only lizard man in New York.
Right.
That is a nice kind of unique thing. Why would you create competition for yourself breeding wise? Like I'm going to turn all these other good-looking cops into lizards too.
Well,
did we get any backlash from the amputee community on this, by the way?
No, I don't think so.
No, because
Right.
they all went into labs and tried to turn themselves into lizards.
Right.
They were like, great idea, Rhys Ifans.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing with that.
He's kind of a set-up villain, though. He's not really.
No.
He's there to watch Peter Parker become Spider-Man, and unfortunately, he's going to get hit by that train. He's not the huge villain that this trilogy is going to be.
And that's
It's
where
true.
you're right, and that's where they follow the model of Batman Begins. Don't give us the Joker right away.
Right.
So
Give us Scarecrow.
Let us set up and look. They teased the Lizard long enough in the Raimi movies. Connors was in that movie, and they teased him for a while. They gave us the Lizard. He's fine. The thing is, the CGI.
He's dead. He's dead. Yeah,
he is.
Yeah, he's dead. Yeah, the lizard's dead. Yeah.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
the lizard died.
Did you see the movie?
Yeah,
He's in the. He's at the end of the thing in the can.
the lizard part. He's not getting out.
You stop it.
He's not getting.
You don't know anything.
His power's gone.
All right. Well, your power's gone because we're going to talk about. What do you got?
There's only one thing about the call that is. I agree that like it may be a little rushed. Another thing I thought was a little bit weird. He seemed more upset about Gwen Stacy's dad dying, Dennis Leary dying, than Uncle Ben. I'm just saying.
You
Seemed
think
a little
so?
bit. Seemed a
He
little bit.
broke down, man. I mean, he broke down pretty hard. That scene when Uncle Ben died, like that was the thing that Andrew Garfield did so much better than Tobey Maguire. I thought he just has that thing about him when you're looking at him, the emotion in his eyes.
My favorite part was when he was talking to Ben and he was like, "Where's my dad?" I mean, that was
Yeah.
that was
Right.
amazing. That was a wonderful scene.
So how was he to work with?
He was wonderful.
He's a nice dude.
Again, he's the nicest guy. He was so appreciative to be a part of this, and that's what you tap into. It's like everybody on set was just excited to be there and having fun. I mean, we're making, this huge film, but it never felt like that. It felt like just playing.
All right, I got a question. So you're on set with Andrew Garfield, right?
Yeah.
Now, in between takes, what's his voice sound like? Is it British? Is it American? Is he doing American the whole time on set?
Yeah. It's a good question.
Yeah, no, I think for the most part he was, because the
Doesn't
other
want to
thing...
know.
Did you not know he was British?
No, I had no idea. No.
He tried to ignore it.
There were moments on set that, because I was watching him a lot, because again, I'm a fan of making, as much as I love making films, I'm a fan of making films too. Like just being on set, it's always fun. I always enjoy myself.
And your thinking cap was on.
Yeah. So I'm watching him, because the first couple days I'm on set, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting there in Video Village for the most part, which, by the way, Video Village was in 3D. That was awesome. I thought that was really cool.
All Video Villages now are.
Holy shit.
It's incredible.
Cool. So you have to put on your glasses while you're sitting in Video Village. But I'm watching him, and he is so committed and so dedicated to every aspect of the character. Like even, there weren't stunt guys that often, but even if it was a stunt guy in the costume, he was over there working with him, like saying, no, I think you should do this. Like, it was his character from beginning to end, and he was going to do everything he could to make sure that it was him on screen the whole time, even if it
he was
wasn't.
such a hardcore fan. Like that video from Comic-Con.
That was man, last year, incredible.
So smart and so genuine. But and
So
one more question,
genuine.
Leif, as far as with Mark Webb, I was a fan of, because when I worked at Silver back in the day, like they had
back in the early 40s, before RKO took him over.
Actually,
During Prohibition.
I was. I
in the 20s.
I came up with the idea for Predator. So he but he.
So you deserve a fuck you for Alien versus Predator.
No, I had nothing to do with that one. But
So
we
true.
had a demo reel come in, and it was it was a bunch of music videos, and it was from Mark Webb.
Oh.
And I had to watch these things when they came in, and I was like, oh, there's a lot of style here for this guy. And then he did
500 Days.
of Summer.
Yeah.
And
You gave Mark Webb his start, huh?
I didn't do shit. I just said this is good. That's all I did.
Okay.
This kid, he's got talent. I like this kid.
You got a future in this
That's
town.
right. But anyway, but I remembered his name, and then I saw 500 Days of Summer. I was like, oh, he really knows how to connect characters. So when everybody else was like up in arms, like, who the hell's this guy? Why is he directing the movie? I was excited he gave me what I was expecting and what I got from the Garfield Gwen Stacy relationship.
Yeah.
How was it like watching him, working with him? What's his process like?
This is the story I go to with my experience with Mark, because during the audition process, there was I didn't meet him. It was like I did my 2 auditions, and 2 months later I got the call that I got the part.
Yeah.
So I show up on set is when I'm going to meet him, and the first day I show up on set to meet him is they're doing like the test of the glasses, because the glasses were so important, and it's on Sony, and they're walking me through the studio, and there's this huge set. There's hundreds of people running all over the place. Cranes, lights, this, that, and they're walking me the whole way to the back of the lot, and there's Video Village, and there's this guy just sitting there, just kicked back. He's got a little scruff on his face, just hanging there, and somebody says, "That's the director, Mark Webb," and he goes, "Hey, Leif," and I go, "Hey, Mark." And that was it. That was our meeting, and I was like, "Oh my god, this guy is awesome!" I mean, like, there's all this stuff going on. There's all these pressures,
and
he's just chilled.
Wow.
He's like just in his element. He's just doing his job, and he's just
cool.
kicked back and like watching his monitor. It was just and every day on set, that's what it was like. It was just fun to be around, because he had this great energy and this great passion, but it never felt like you had to deliver.
Right.
He just you delivered a great product by having a good, relaxed set.
And you get a lot out of people that way. And I think the thing is, too, is that he and it was an interview, and I think he's kind of teasing people, too, where he doesn't know if he's going to come back for the sequel.
They always do that, though.
He's got to come back for the sequel.
Yeah.
You think?
He's got to come back for the sequel.
I'd
Because
hate if they switched.
because he just switched the tone. Like, unlike the Hunger Games, where I'm okay with Gary Ross taking off, Mark Webb's stamp and his tone is what made this movie so great. Also, besides the acting obviously was phenomenal, but it was the way.
But again, that's him. I mean,
him.
he works with the actors,
Yes.
as opposed to a lot of directors that I've worked with who are more visual, and that's all they care about. They don't care about the performance.
Right.
He was invested in the actors and challenged us continually.
Right.
Like
Cool.
he would walk up and say, "No, what if this happened? What if you thought like this?" And you're like, "Okay, yeah, that's great. That's a great approach."
Yeah, did he ever say to you, like, could you just be more of an asshole when you give him that chocolate milk?
That's right.
I mean, in all honesty, it was like there was this element in the script that I tapped into that was the wrong thing to tap into, and it was Mark that kind of worked with me, that kind of helped me realize that it's not just about being that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That there were all these other things associated with it that helped me as an actor get invested in the character. So that I was very appreciative of it.
Leif, you can't make the gun noise.
Yes.
We're gonna do that.
Yeah,
we do that in post. You gotta stop this.
Now, did Glasses have a backstory? And if so, can you talk about it, or are you not? Can you not talk about it?
This is one of the things, and you know this going into it. There was a bigger arc to my character. You know what I mean? There was a beginning, middle, and end. So not
There
an
still
end, so to
might
speak.
be.
But when we reshot, when we reshot some stuff, I knew that it was going to be condensed. You know, I knew that what they were looking for was a faster paced everything, because there was a bit more development in everything initially in the script.
Okay,
so
all right. Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take another call. We're running down time. We're we got 5 minutes left in the show.
Oh,
I wish we had
no.
another 3 hours, but tweet in some more questions. Take another call. We're going to go with Phil. Phil, what's up, man? What do you got? Nothing?
Hey.
Hey, man, what's
Hey,
up?
how are you?
Good. What's up?
Nothing. You guys have any questions for me?
No, but thanks for calling. All right. So, all right, now we got Kyle. Kyle, what do you got, man?
Yeah, actually, I know it's a little late with the question, but I was actually wondering what you guys thought about the ending possibly leading into the Green Goblin. I was actually thinking while watching the movie, you notice for Kurt Connors early in the film, he keeps talking more in a more of a psychotic thing of hearing voices the entire time. And that's really similar to how Willem Dafoe did in the earlier trilogy.
Right.
Couldn't that actually lead into that with the second movie, and then with also playing out the arc of Gwen Stacy dying, lead into the third movie with Venom, just kind of cope with that. As well as kind of like how it leads into some of the comic arcs having all like the Goblin Serum, the Lizard, Spider-Man, all coming from that same research Connors and the Parkers did.
That's interesting.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I think you're
Thanks,
getting a
dude.
Goblin in the second one. I think you're getting the Green Goblin,
so?
and I think Gwen Stacy. Take her or leave her. She's at the end of the day, you're a superhero. There's another train coming. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, go ahead.
And then at the end, I need to see Venom. I want to see Venom at some point in these movies.
Right.
This is huge, and I didn't know this. Chris Garbo just tweeted us. And
Michael
said,
Bay to direct number 2.
No, not that.
Oh, God.
So this is the tweet. It's a pretty exciting tweet. Glasses may become the Shocker as he does in the comics.
Oh,
Wow.
that's why it pays to
he
read
knew about
comic
that.
books.
So, holy shitballs.
See, that would be incredible, and I feel like we got to end on a really big one. So this is a trilogy. Everybody signed up, right? But Venom is probably going to pop up later. I think.
Without Leaf saying anything, we could actually be sitting with Shocker. How
Great
about that?
tweet.
Wow,
Great
holy
tweet.
shitballs. All right, well, that's great.
Now, what exactly does Shocker do? Is Shocker? Is he like Blanca from Street
You know
Fighter
the Shocker,
2? He just
right?
gets
I was going that way. I was going that way. I decided not to. I figured you'd go that way.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Two in the-
He just goes
two
around
and
and
then
he's
one and-
filthy to porn stars. That's what he does.
Right, I'm going to Comic-Con today. You got to tell me how to pull off this maneuver.
Yeah.
I've been training for this my whole life.
Listen, pull out your pen and take some fucking notes.
That's right. It would. You know what though? That would make a lot more sense because if you're not going to kill off the dude who killed Ben in the first movie,
he's got to go
instead
somewhere.
of Spider-Man just finally, I found the guy. He's at Starbucks. Let me shoot him in the face with the web now. You know, like give him something to do. Like let's see Glasses become Shocker. And Shocker 2014. Let's do it.
Too big.
My calendar is open.
Too big an
We got to get that
oversight.
tattoo.
Right,
That's
so-
priority number one.
All right, we are winding down here. Schmobil, you guys have been
boo.
fantastic. We're just going to do a couple things. Grae, you're going to be at Comic-Con?
Comic-Con. I'm going to be on the Masters of the Web panel tomorrow at Comic-Con. That's
Okay.
Thursday, 4:30 to 5:30.
Okay.
And check me out on CNN doing a live hit, 12:50 Pacific in costume.
That's right. You can
The
also.
Masters of the Web panel today is have you guys hack into stuff. You're like, I'm so good at the internet.
Yeah, she wears
Watch me log on
She
to
wears a
AOL.
She-Ra costume.
Hold on, you guys. I'm really nervous about the panel, and so I've already got I think I've got my answer set up already, which is, it's a series of tubes.
Yes.
Series of tubes.
Very good.
Perfect.
Thank you.
And you can also follow Grae at Popcorn Mafia. All right, and Leaf, where can they find you, my friend?
Follow me on Twitter at Prez of Moon.
Prez.
Yeah, Prez.
Yeah, so definitely follow the new Shocker, and then and then us, you have us youtube.com/schmozno, and because of that, we had one of our fans do this excellent song for us, awkward. T Unity. I always screw up her name, but we're going to outro our podcast with this great song that she did for us.
Awesome.
And guys, we will see you next week. We're going to have Reels producer Owen Mugen. Okay,
Until
guys.
then, Heidi and Frank's next. We'll see you guys next week on the Schmoes Know podcast.
Take us out, Awkward.
Let's go. I gotta get ready to go. Mark and Christian review movies, the cinephiles and the show it. 5-point system decimals included, giving you the scoop. The Schmo it. Schmoes know, they know. Schmoes know. Schmoes know, they know. There's one Christian, a sarcastic cartoon cat is the villain. Residents of Schmoes know the drill. We tell us what to see and we listen. Schmoes know, they know. Schmoes know. Schmoes know, they know. Schmoes know.
You're listening to the Toad Hop Network, radio worth watching.